Hi guys, my name is Destiny, and I never done this before, like a YouTube video or anything like that, but I just thought it was important because I want to talk about my testimony today. So if you don't really know what a testimony is, I'll just give you a little brief idea. So basically it's just, from my understanding, your life before Jesus, how you got led to Jesus, and where you're at now. I want to start off by saying I used to be a very skeptical and anti-Christian type person, but a lot has changed. A lot has changed, and now that I genuinely know that Jesus saves and he loves you and he heals people, I just want to share my story and hopefully inspire others to find him as well. Okay guys, bear with me because like I said, I never did this before, so I couldn't figure out how to get the audio sounding good, so it might sound a little crappy, but bear with me because I feel like you'll actually enjoy hearing this story. So anyways, where do I start? I'm just going to start off by telling you some background on me, the way I grew up, if my family was religious or not, stuff like that, before I get into what actually led me to Jesus Christ. So, growing up, I was very poor. I was living with my mom, my dad, and my two siblings, me being the middle child. And we were in a very dangerous ghetto environment. It's not the best for anyone to really grow up like that, kind of in squalor, but my mother did what she can, and I'll always appreciate her for that. And I just wanted to add that I'm mixed race, and I'm telling you that because my mom, she's white and Mexican, but she's fully passing as a white woman. And my dad is black, and when we grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood and everything like that, she, I'm not gonna lie, they treated her really bad. They talked down upon her, they'll call her slurs, she was beaten a few times, jumped by girl gangs, whatever. They're mad because she's a white woman and she has black kids and a black husband. And she was just ridiculed for that and treated very terribly, not on the contents of her character, but just by her skin color. And it's crazy because when we moved to the suburbs, halfway through my life when I was 10, I saw the roles reverse. Okay, so when and why we moved to the suburbs is because, like I said, it was just really dangerous. It was really ghetto where we were living. It was dangerous and bad to the point where there was memorials on every corner from people who died because of drive-bys and this and that, and the schools that we were in were so dangerous that there was kids fighting teachers, there was security on every floor of the school, there was metal detectors at every exit. It was really bad. It was really bad. I know some people live in places that are even worse, but where I was living, it was somewhere in Milwaukee, and it just got too dangerous. So we decided to move to the suburbs, and we kind of left my dad behind because he was really abusive towards my mother, physically and mentally. So we just kind of packed our bags and left because a girl can only take so much. My mom had to put up with his physical abuse, his cheating on her, threatening her, being possessive of her, our whole lives. And he swears to this day that never happened. He thinks he can gaslight me into thinking that never happened just because I was a kid when it happened, but I still have the memories as clear as day. I know that happened. I know it. I feel it in my heart. I've been dealing with it for years because that's the only real, idea of love that I've ever seen is my parents. And I'm sorry, but it wasn't a pretty picture. It didn't give me a good idea of what love actually is supposed to be. So yeah, we moved to the suburbs. And it was pretty good for a while because it was way less dangerous. There was some racism here and there towards me and towards my family. But, what can you do? So, yeah, everything was pretty good on the up and up. My mother had her little business. She was trying to become an independent businesswoman. And my dad and his abuse was out of the picture. The violence from the streets was out of the picture. But the only thing that did weigh on me that was really unfortunate is the shift in the schooling systems. Because let me tell you, when I was living in Milwaukee, they were teaching they were teaching first graders like kindergarten type stuff. Like, my point is, they were teaching us grades behind what we were supposed to be learning. And I feel like that's some systematic racism, but that's beside the point. Because then when I got to the suburbs, it was, they were teaching us way higher advanced stuff. I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't even try to keep up. I feel like I was years behind. So yeah, that's what I feel like low key led to a little series of unfortunate events because I thought everything was on the up and up, but then my grades started slipping. Like, they were never where they were supposed to be, and I could never catch up. I felt like I was just missing way too much information to just start off where they were and continue on learning. You know what I mean? So, and not to mention that, see, nobody ever wants to diagnose me or test me or anything, but I really feel like I have some type of learning disability because it's always difficult for me to read. I feel kind of like the words just merge together, and I feel like the main thing is I can never focus. I can't focus for the life of me. Like, if I'm not interested in something, why am I going to sit down, learn it, and recite it for you? I don't know. Maybe that's just a common feeling. I don't know. But so my grades were not doing good. I wasn't really finding my clique, like anyone who I really connected with and wanted to be friends with. So I just kind of felt lonely, and I kind of felt like I was disappointing people, letting them down, you know. And I felt that way for a long time. And, you know, while I was in the midst of that, someone who I'm very close to, as part of my family, told me, like, hey, you know what really helps me take off stress is marijuana. And they kept suggesting it to me, like, oh, it'll relieve your anxiety and it'll feel so good and do this and that for you. But mind you, I was like 14 or 15. So I feel like that's not a good thing to start exposing someone so young who they don't even really know who they are yet, and you're telling them, oh, alter your brain with drugs every day, even if it's just like a class 1, like, small little party, you know. Yeah, so I was already down in the dumps, like, feeling bad, and then I decided to smoke and smoke my troubles away. And it used to be like, oh, just on the weekends, and then it turned to, oh, every day after school, every day before school. And then I started skipping school to smoke, and it just got out of hand because it was to the point where that's all I was thinking of. I wasn't thinking on my life or what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. I was just thinking, what's the fastest way I could cope? And then when I finally did get some friends, like freshman year of high school, they weren't the best influences, and they would also be like, oh, let's smoke a little, let's drink a little, let's skip school. And I would skip school for weeks, and it turned to months, to the point where I was piling up thousands of dollars worth of truancy tickets, which I would get for not going to school. So my mother was obviously really mad because we're already kind of living in poverty, and now I racked up quite a bill not going to school. Plus, you know, I was a teenager with all my hormones and everything, so out of breath because I had to chase my freaking cat around the room. She doesn't listen. Anyways, where was I? So me and my mother were getting into it all the time, always arguing with each other. So that made it like quite a hostile environment at home, because every single time we would see each other, we would start arguing about something. And it wasn't an overall pleasant time. But a few years later, everything started to perk up. Because what happened was a few things. First off, I got a best friend. And And this is really where the me finding Jesus story begins, because with my family, they were never really too religious. I mean, you got a few Bibles around the house and a few paintings of Jesus hung up, but we never went to church. We never really talked about any religion. So it was kind of brand new to me until my best friend, cute little Mexican fella, I'll be quiet. He his family was heavily Christian. Like, I'm talking heavy, like can't watch scary movies, can't drink, can't smoke, no Halloween, nothing demonic. They even said, like, his mom said, yeah, I don't want cats, they're too demonic. Like, what? They're just cats. Like, I know their eyes be looking kind of creepy, but they're not demonic. They're sweet little angels. Whatever, she got over it. She got a cat eventually. But so yeah, this friend, his name is Carlos, he really brought me to the light. Not only with Jesus, but just the fact that I felt like I didn't really have anyone in my corner. And then all of a sudden we became friends through school, and he lived right next to me. And we just clicked. We just hung out every day, smoking, doing whatever, talking about life, chilling. You know, he became like family, because I would see bro every single day, like before school, after school, during school. And he was just the light of my life for a while, because honestly, I felt like I didn't really have much else to look forward to. So I'm so thankful to him for that. And also how him and his family were always talking about Jesus, it made me kind of want to give it a try. It made me kind of want to look into it. And when he died last year or so, it really had me thinking, like, where did he go? Like, is he happy? Is he reincarnated? Is he in this heaven that he was so fond of talking about? Is, like, what happened to him? I was really hoping that his soul wasn't gone forever and that it's sticking around somewhere. So I was searching for answers. I was looking through all the religions. I was looking online. I was looking to what my friends had to say, my coworkers had to say, saying, like, what religion do you believe in? What do you think happens when you die? And the most common answer I got was Jesus Christ. And I looked into it, like, deeply, like, skipping through the Bible, reading it every chance I get, watching testimony videos, watching TV shows and movies about the Gospels, and it opened my heart. Something about it. But I kind of skipped some stuff that's very important, so let me go through that really quick. So what happened at the time was, you know, I was like 16, and I found a sweet cat outside, a stray cat. It was December, it was like -degrees, there was snow everywhere, and all of a sudden in my parking lot to my apartment, I see this little white cat run past with the most beautiful greenish blue eyes I've ever seen. And I was like, he's sitting there crying under the car cold. Someone has to help him, right? So I go grab some cat food from my neighbor, I lure him in, and I got me a buddy for life. So that's when things perked up a little, because it was before my friend died, and it was just at the time where me and my mother weren't getting along, and then I got a cat, and then it kind of brought the family together, and it was lovely. Until it wasn't lovely, because here's what happened about a year after that. I was sleeping in bed with my newfound cat, and you know, it was like 1 a.m. All of a sudden, the fire alarm goes off. My house is on fire. And that was really unfortunate. I grabbed my cat. I actually had 2 cats at the time. I grabbed my 2 cats. I ran out of the building in my robe. I didn't know what was going on. I'm sitting there at 1 a.m. Everyone in the apartment was evacuated, just listening to the super loud sirens, waiting for the, emergency people, firefighters to come and put out the fire. I don't know what's going on. The fire is spreading, the sprinklers are going off, and no one can get them to turn off, so the sprinklers are just ruining every single thing in our house, all the furniture, all the clothes, everything, leaving us with nothing. At this point, it's finally like 3:30 a.m. The fire people come. They come in our apartment. They're investigating everything. They won't let us in there. And we're just like, okay, can we go in there? We want to make sure all our stuff is okay. Like, can we please go in there? And they're like, no, we're investigating. They're investigating until like 5 a.m. Then it still came up inconclusive what caused the fire. But we did get evicted because our apartment caused a fire, which flooded the whole building with the sprinklers, and it was a whole mess. So we were homeless with nothing to our name except some cats, some stray cats. So my mom was like, okay, quick, think on our feet. Where can we stay? We're limited money, you know. And we all, our whole family, me, my 2 siblings, my 2 cats, and my mom, bunk with my grandma for like 6 months at least, like 6 months. And I love my grandma, I really do. But see, she lives in like a small to medium sized little condominium. So, which is like a little house. So, when we move our whole family in with her and my 2 cats plus her 2 cats, it was just, we were all tripping over each other all the time. We were aggravated all the time. It was a terrible situation. We were all always at each other's throats, and I just had enough. So I'm a caregiver. I was working at my caregiving job 16-hour shifts every single day, just so I could have somewhere to stay, just so I could have food in my belly, just so I could have a little peace of mind, and so that I could get my money up to move out as fast as possible. Because I'm 18 at this time, I can move out if I get the money. So I was freaking slaving myself to get an apartment. And actually what happened was, when our house burned down, these people came from the Red Cross and they say, oh, we want to help you. We want to get you situated. So here's $500, which is lovely, but it only covered a week in a hotel. So that's actually when we moved in with my grandma. But yeah, so I was working all these shifts, and after like a few months, like after maybe like 8 months living there total, I was like, got enough money to get my own apartment. So I was like, even if I'm poor for a while, at least I'll have my own safe space, my sanctuary. So I grinded to get that apartment, and I got it, and I completely furnished it, and I'm just so happy and blessed, because the thing is, I was praying every single night ever since that fire, like, God, if you're up there, please turn my situation around. Please give me a home to stay in, give me food, give me sanctuary for my family, God. And he did just that. I mean, like, I had virtually no credit. Like, I had just got a credit card. I had the basicest amount of credit. I had no proof that I could pay any bills. No past previous places that I rented, and I was only 18. But the first apartment I applied for, they accepted me immediately. I got in. I went through the St. Vincent program. They got me all free furniture. I got food from the food pantries. I got all types of assistants and lovely angels helping me from every corner, trying to get me to where I need to be. And now today, when I finally even have a full closet full of clothes, a place warm for myself and my cats, I just feel like I'm so blessed. No matter what happens to me, just to have the basics, like, I'm so beyond blessed that I know someone is looking out for me. I know it. So anyways, yeah. So what happened was, around this time, right when I moved into my apartments, that's when my best friend had died. So I'm like, you can only be doing good for so long, and then something terrible will happen, is what I was feeling like. And I was feeling so down in the dumps because I never had someone so close to me die, and to be murdered at that. And we're so young, like, he should have lived longer, and he didn't, and that weighed heavy on my heart. It's going on a year and a half now, and I still think about it. First thought in the morning, first thought before I go to bed. But I think to myself, like, he was a devout Christian, and if I can be a devout Christian to take his place, that's one little thing that I can do for him. That's what I could do for him. I don't know. Just keep him alive a little, and I don't mind doing it because it brings me so much peace and I have faith in it. It is not only his religion, but now it's mine. And it's crazy because ever since the day he died, his funeral and everything, I would have dreams about bro every single night. Every single night, never failed. And the dreams used to be just, oh, like, I thought I saw Carlos in that crowd, but then he wasn't there. I was mistaken. Like, just little things, like seeing him around town, seeing him in my house. But there was these few dreams that were so eerie, they just made me feel like I was genuinely interacting with him in his spirit. And in the Bible, it says that angels can come to you through dreams. And that just really resonated with me because I felt like I was encountering him. So yeah, that's basically my story. I mean, grew up poor. I mean, was beaten down physically, mentally. I saw my mom go through it. I became homeless. I saw everyone around me becoming addicts and going to jail and dying. And I prayed every day about all of it for my whole entire life, and every single time I pray, every single time, the prayer is answered. Even if I say, oh God, make me stronger, please God, some terrible thing will happen and it will give me strength. It'll make me stronger. Or if I say, oh, please God, help me recover from my best friend dying, then he'll send me my best friend as an angel through my dreams to tell me that he's with me, like stuff like that. You can call me crazy, but I feel like Jesus Christ has got me through every single struggle that I've ever had. Like, he made me go through obstacles to get what I need, but at the end of the day, he gave me what I need. He gave me all the tools I needed to succeed, and I am forever grateful for that. And I will be telling people about Jesus Christ forever because he has saved my life more than once. When I didn't even want my life, I was told that he wanted it, and so I gave my life to Christ. And I've stopped drinking, and I've stopped doing sexual things, and I've stopped, doing lustful things, and I dress more modestly, and I feel great doing it, and I feel great spreading the gospel so that people can feel the peace that I feel. Because I feel like everyone needs Jesus in their life. You can say that you don't believe, but whether you believe it or not, Jesus is there and he loves you.